Yes, hello again and welcome to episode 60 of Main Street Martin, and here we are in the Maritime Hotel in Cologne.
So in this Christmas time, will we get it right? Will my wish come true? Will my wish come true? Under these Christmas lights, will the stars align? Will my wish come true? Will my wish come true?
Yes, hello again. Merry Christmas and welcome to another episode in our December 2025 short break in Cologne. This is the first part of a series of videos, and while you're on the channel, don't forget to check out all of the previous episodes, including our theme park holidays, cruises and short breaks right here on the channel. And if you enjoy any of the videos, please make sure you click on the like button, ring the notification bell to be informed of any future videos, and if you can, please help the channel by subscribing. Now, in recent years we've been to a number of European Christmas markets in the UK and Austria, and so this year we decided to find one that we hadn't been to before. I was looking for a city that had much more to offer apart from the Christmas markets themselves, and somewhere we'd never been to before. I looked at Nuremberg, Bruges and Strasbourg amongst others, but in the end Cologne was perfect for us as it has so much more to offer, and the flights were a reasonable price and from Stansted, which is the easiest of the London airports for us. So we stayed here in the Maritime Hotel, which is centrally located in Cologne and offers stunning panoramic views of the River Rhine. We're looking forward to a week here in Cologne, which is more of a historic city than I'd first appreciated. We may even take a day to go to Dusseldorf, but the first thing we're going to do is take a look around the hotel. We're on the third floor in room 321, so let's go and have a look. So let's just go inside and take a look at our room. It's air conditioned, it has satellite television, a desk and this modern bathroom, which is absolutely fantastic. There's free Wi-Fi throughout the hotel as well, and we started each day with a full breakfast buffet in the spacious rotisserie restaurant featuring a beautiful glass ceiling. And for lunch and dinner, we didn't eat here, but you can, and you can head to the Roof Garden restaurant on the 5th floor, which serves international dishes. The elegant Café Heumarkt is perfect for a relaxing coffee. Drinks can be enjoyed in the rustic Kolscher stuffed pub or the stylish piano bar, which wasn't actually open when we were here. The hotel, though, also has a spa, a gym and an indoor pool. And it proved to be a perfect base to explore the city, as it's just a 10 to 15 minute walk to Cologne Cathedral and Cologne main station. So this is the Maritime Hotel Cologne. This is the first floor. They're having some work done down here at the moment, but there's the Christmas tree and the restaurants and bars underneath this magnificent glass roof, and at the other end you can just see through the window the river, the Rhine. Now, there are many Christmas markets in Cologne, and so we didn't waste any time after we checked in. We made our way across a private bridge which goes from the hotel across the main road down to the side of the River Rhine and on towards the harbour market. Of course, Advent marks the start of the Christmas season, and every corner of Cologne is festively decorated. Locals and visitors here are invited to come to the Christmas circus, the China lights at the zoo, Advent concerts and one of the many Christmas markets scattered around the city. Now, in contrast to many other German cities, Cologne opened its first Christmas market rather late, back in 1820. But today Cologne has a sparkling array of Christmas markets, including those around the Cathedral, the Market of Hearts and many others, with different themes like the Harbour Christmas Market, which we're on our way to, and the Market of Angels. So at the other end of that atrium is this bridge, brings you right down to the side of the Rhine. There's a Viking River cruise boat in at the moment, another one under the bridge there. And it's quite a nice place to be because you can just about see the cathedral through there. And then down the other end there's a Christmas market with the tower that you can see and the big wheel, the Cologne Eye. That building is the Chocolate Museum. And this is the first of our Cologne Christmas Markets. As we make our way to the harbour market, let me just tell you about some of the things we hope to see and do while we're here, because apart from the festive lights and activities, there are lots of other things to see and do. The most outstanding highlight perhaps is the Cologne Cathedral and maybe the city's 12 famous Romanesque churches. But you can easily combine visits to many of these highlights, the monuments and museums, just by walking around, and that's what we love to do the most. There's an awful lot to see, from the cathedral to the Altstadt or the Old Town, the harbour to the zoo and the botanical gardens, as well as the many attractive parks and gardens around the city. In fact, there are more than 100 museums. As you know, if you've seen any of our previous videos, we enjoy exploring cities and their Christmas markets on foot. And as you make your way through Cologne, apart from the Christmas markets, you'll see the city's finely crafted nativity scenes, the Ferris wheel, which is here at the harbour market, just outside the Chocolate Museum, and there are lots of other Christmas events as well. If you can't or you don't want to visit all of these on foot, the Christmas Market Express will take you from one Christmas market to the next around the city. So this is the Cologne Harbour Christmas Market, the first of the markets we've visited since we arrived in the city, and it has a picturesque setting on the banks of the River Rhine, right next to the Chocolate Museum, which we'll visit later this week. It's a modern market with 70 or so stalls in snow-white pagoda tents that remind you of ship sails. And in addition to high quality goods and handicrafts, there are lots of food choices here from all over the region and in fact all over the world. There's a large wooden ship serving hot mulled wine and a nautical theme throughout, including a varied entertainment programme from sea shanties to pirates. And as a further highlight, there's a Ferris wheel which you can see, which is an impressive 48 metres high, integrated into the market, and it gives you fantastic views over Cologne towards the cathedral and of course up and down the River Rhine. And while we're on the subject of magnificent views, as an alternative, why not do what we did and take these steps up the side of the Chocolate Museum to a rooftop area where you can see up and down the Rhine and across the city to the cathedral. Incidentally, lower down at the back of the building, at the side of the river, is another terrace serving fabulous glühwein in a really cosy atmosphere with blankets on every seat and heaters and so on. Lovely glühwein terrace by the Chocolate Museum, and this is very, very nice. It's a fascinating area. You go across a swing bridge to get into this harbour area, built in 1896. It's actually Cologne's oldest bridge on the River Rhine, and you can see that this area used to be an island. But up and down the river you'll see the crane houses, you'll see the German Sport and Olympia Museum, which is nearby as well. There's a skater park and lots of historic buildings as well, including the harbour cranes, which are now listed, and that fortified tower which we saw at the very beginning of our visit here, which dates back to the Middle Ages. One of the reasons we like to tour cities on foot is you never quite know what you're going to stumble upon. And this is one of those finds. It's the Cologne Chocolate Museum. It's operated by one of the country's oldest mustard mills by a man called Wolfgang Steffens. Inside you can immerse yourself in over 200 years of culinary and manufacturing tradition as you explore the history of one of the most popular condiments, mustard. The museum showcases the entire method of production, from grinding on authentic 525 kilogram stones to the final product sold in stone jars. The entry is absolutely free of charge, and you can take, although we didn't, guided tours which run daily. While you're there you can sample a variety of authentic recipes dating as far back as the 15th century, and here you'll also find some locally made jams and preserves. Just across some tram lines from our hotel is this, the Heinzel's Fairy Tale Market, which turned out to be our favourite market of all the markets we've seen, not just here but in other European cities. It's an enchanting market in Cologne's old town, with the largest Christmas market in the city, a spectacular ice rink where you can do curling amongst other things, and it offers a wide variety of speciality stalls. In fact, there are more than 100 of them, organised into different lanes and small squares stretching right across Ultimarkt and Heumarkt. It's actually worthy of some of the best theme park theming you'll find as well, with elves and lots of the stall holders wearing costumes which are appropriate, whether they're blacksmiths or serving food. It's really fabulous, and it's got one of the best atmospheres at a Christmas market we've ever experienced.
बन जाते हैं यार इसमें थोड़ा थोड़ा।
As you can see, as darkness falls, the Christmas markets become even more magical. It's worth pointing out, by the way, at this stage, that there is no admission fee to any of the Christmas markets, but I'm sure you'll be tempted by some of the food on offer, and you may want to buy gifts as well. So make sure you take some cash with you, because not all of the stores accept cards. So that's really important. Make sure you wear some comfortable shoes as well, because you're going to do quite a bit of walking, and some of the squares where the markets are cobblestoned. The other point to make is that it wasn't always cold when we were there, so make sure you take stuff to wrap up warm, but perhaps take layers that you can take off if it's not too cold. And the other thing to consider is wearing waterproof footwear and taking an umbrella or probably a waterproof coat with you, because in those crowded areas umbrellas become cumbersome. And the final thing we did to end our first day was to get our first glimpse of the magnificent Cologne Cathedral, the tallest two-spired cathedral in the world, and then it was time to turn in. Bright and early the following morning, we were back to visit the markets and see what they were like without the evening crowds.
Everything is so well designed and constructed. All of these buildings, including the two-storey building we're standing in, are put up just for the Christmas market. Look at the detail that's gone into it. But later on in the day, these are the glue vines and the various things you can get here. Have a look around the other side. And in the background there you can see the Cologne Cathedral. There are other churches as well. We're going to make our way to the cathedral and have a look in there in the next few minutes. We just thought we'd check out this market during the daytime. The thing I've noticed as well is that wherever people are working, they're all in character, all in costume, which is a really nice touch. These fabulous wood carvings. Historical magazine shop, which is fascinating, including some wartime newspapers. And if you want some mistletoe, if you're feeling particularly festive with the one you love, this is the place to be. This is another great example of the effort they make with their stalls. As you can see, this is a different market just round the corner from the other one. This is right next to the cathedral. We're going to walk around to that in a moment's time. I'm hoping that this shows well on video because it's absolutely stunning. The cathedral is absolutely magnificent, but difficult to actually see from a distance because of the market in front of it. But standing right outside and below it, it's absolutely stunning. And the square in front is pretty as well. Plenty of space from this side. And the Christmas market entrance is just round there to the right hand side. And that's where we've just come from.
And before we go inside, I'm sure you want to know why the cathedral has such a dark look on the outside. I'm told it's due to centuries of weathering, soot, and something called biofouling.
And this is inside the magnificent Cologne Cathedral. It is a Sunday, so there will be services. Very, very busy with tourists at the moment. And just look at these incredible stained glass windows.
This amazing cathedral is 157 metres tall. It's the world's third largest Gothic style cathedral, and it has 10,000 square metres of windows. Something like 20,000 visitors each and every day. It takes around 100 people from the masonry office to work every day to maintain this as one of Germany's most popular landmarks and as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In fact, in Cologne there's a saying, when the cathedral is finished, the world will end. Because after more than 600 years of construction, work on the building continues.
I'm not sure if you can actually get the scale of these windows, but they are absolutely phenomenal. And look at the ones right at the top of the cathedral.
The origins of the cathedral go back to the middle of the 12th century. It all began when the Archbishop of Cologne, Reinald von Dassel, brought the supposed bones of the three wise men from Milan to Cologne in 1164. Between 1190 and 1225, a valuable shrine with gold figures, stone trimmings and a pictorial history was made for these bones, and you can see this shrine today inside the cathedral. The modest old cathedral became one of the most popular and important pilgrimage churches in Europe, and so it was decided that a more worthy building was necessary, and the work on a brand new cathedral began. Guided tours are available if you want to plan ahead, because that needs registration. And when you do wander around inside the cathedral, there are so many questions you might want to ask. The interior is stunning. It's complemented by historical furnishings of artistic significance. In the transept, as an example, is a modern bronze altar that was created between 1960 and 1971. Behind the altar are the choir stalls, which were carved from 1308 to 1311. The 104 seats make it one of the biggest surviving medieval choir stalls in Germany, and the seats include one that was reserved for the Pope and another for the Emperor.
As you can see, the floors are also stunning.
Cologne Cathedral opens its doors at 6 a.m. and closes them at 8 p.m. Of course, there are various services that take place during the day, but generally it's possible for you to visit between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. on weekdays, 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. on Sundays, and until 8 p.m. in the Tower Hall after evening Mass. Since church services take a priority though, it's worth checking before you plan to visit.
Then on the other side of Cologne Cathedral is this square in front of one of the railway stations. The older part of the railway station over there, and this the more contemporary section.
After walking around the cathedral, we decided to cross the River Rhine on one of the city's most historic bridges.
Another fantastic shop display. Wow, look at the choice in there.
Ein volles Weihnachtshaus, ne? Das haben wir auch gut. Das ist schon die Tour.
A short walk through the shopping centre of Cologne brings us here to the Angel Market.
The Market of Angels is in Neumarkt. Although it's smaller and more intimate than the Dom Market, it's one of the loveliest of the Cologne Christmas markets, with white stalls, twinkling lights and people in angel costumes walking around. The vendors here offer all sorts of food and artisan crafts and heavenly scented candles amongst other things. There's a stage at one end and a beautiful nativity. And if you want to try something other than a glühwein, order a hot Aperol Spritz. This is a charming market which focuses on handmade crafts and artisan goods. It's ideal if you're looking for a Christmas gift, and the fairy tale atmosphere, festive music and angel-themed decorations make it enchanting, particularly for families. Welcome to the start of day 3, actually our second full day but third day here, and it's early morning and this is yet another Christmas market which we've discovered. This one is outside another impressive church, St. Apostel. So here we are inside the Basilica of the Holy Apostles. It's located near to the Neumarkt, where we were last night, and the Angel Market, and it's been proven that a monastery was founded here as early as the 10th century. The first secured apostle church was probably a relatively simple building, and then the former collegiate church was dedicated to the 12 apostles. It has one tower on the west side of the building, some 67 metres high, that looks down over a very small but quaint Christmas market where we enjoyed a glühwein after visiting the church.
And a short walk a little further on brings us to the St. Nicholas Christmas Market. Still morning, so everybody's just setting up. They don't really come to life until mid-afternoon, and then really peak early evening when the crowds are really high. I'm sure this looks much nicer at other times of the year. I assume that there's no water in it now because it freezes during the winter. Garden Christmas market. Very small, obviously more local people come to this one, and this one doesn't open until 2 in the afternoon. So a short walk back and a quick stop for coffee and cake, and we're back at the St Nicholas Market, which is already starting to get busy as we come to mid-afternoon. We stumbled across this amazing building. It's the Cologne Armory, built between 1594 and 1606 as a municipal arsenal. It's part of the building complex now of the Cologne City Museum and was in operation there from 1958 to 2021. Now sadly, due to water damage, the lower 2 floors haven't been used since 2017, and the upper floors are still used by the museum's workshops and administration. And as we get back to the Christmas markets around the cathedral, that's it for another episode. Still to come from our series in Cologne, we explore more of the city and its Christmas markets, take a train to Dusseldorf and enjoy a festive cruise with live music on the River Rhine, and we visit the Cologne Chocolate Museum. Don't forget to take a look at the other videos on the channel featuring Caribbean and Mediterranean cruises, plus our visits to eco parks and theme parks in Mexico, the United States and Europe. And you'll also find city breaks in the UK and Europe, as well as short breaks which provide you with top tips, hints and ideas. Now if you enjoy any of the videos, you can really help the channel by clicking on the like button, ringing that notification bell and subscribing. And I hope you can join me next time for episode 61 of Main Street Martin.
Under these Christmas lights.